Nothing you do matters. That's not hyperbole. That's not me trying to say something funny or say something ominous for the start of a video. That is true. Nothing that we do matters. Then why the fuck do we care so much? Like, dude, no, I'm serious. That's something that I hear so fucking often, is that nothing that we ever do matters. And look, guys, I know I spread a lot of fucking pessimism on this channel here, but I wanted to take a step back and I wanted to really examine this argument of, nothing we do matters. I mean, in theory, it makes sense, right? One day we're all going to end up in the ground, we're all going to the same place, so, why don't we just log off the servers right now, so to speak? And, well, I think the reason that we do that is because deep down, we know that our actions in some minuscule way will have an effect on the universe for the rest of our lives. And it really got me thinking, what do I want my legacy to be? You'll also notice that we're not using the normal Minecraft gameplay footage in the background, and that's because, well, for one, I ran out of storage for literally any Minecraft gameplay, but for two, I really think that the gameplay you were looking at in the background really encapsulates this, idea of legacy, right? This game in the background is called Eternal Towers of Hell, right? It is a very long, very difficult, single-stage tower obby game on Roblox in which you have to climb to the top of various structures ranging from incredibly easy all the way to the most impossibly difficult bullshit you will ever see in your life. And I feel like this range of difficulty, the idea of having these things to do really gets you thinking about why the fuck do we do this? I mean, again, it is the most meaningless thing ever. Trying to climb to the top of digital Legos, that's not going to really impact anything in the future. That's not really going to do much for you. And, why do you do it then? Why do we care enough to spend our time doing something as meaningless as climbing to the top of a Roblox obby tower when we have much more important things that we could be doing in life, right? And this is sort of the thesis of this video. If nothing we do matters, why do anything at all? And because of my, past, my childhood, my traumas, it really has got me in this rut of nothing that I do does matter. Because, listen, for as long as I can remember, I have always had to bow to somebody, and the harsh reality of life is you will always have to bow to somebody. Even the most powerful people in the world still have people to answer to, and if you don't, well, you're probably already dead, because that's just the way of the world, my friends. And now look, I have kind of briefly touched on this topic in another video, but it was incredibly unstructured. I had not slept that night. It was 3 a.m. I'm genuinely thinking about unlistening the thing at this point because it's really that bad. But one of the things that I talked about in my video that I didn't give enough light to was the idea of our own ambitions and what kind of impact we want to leave on the world when we're gone. Sucks to say it, guys, we're all gonna die, alright? And with death being such a looming threat over our heads, it really kind of puts us all on a timer. We all have about 80 years, give or take, depending on what our life choices are, what unfortunate events we may fall into, how we're treated, our genetics, etc. They all determine that. But relatively speaking, each one of us has 80 years to do as much as we can for the world. And the world is not very forgiving, my friends, okay? Listen, again, take a look at one video on this channel, and you can tell me with 100% certainty that the world is fair, okay? I'm gonna put you on the side of the road, and I'm gonna set you down, and I'm gonna give you a little talk, buddy, because listen, there is nothing in this world that is fair, and if you think it's fair, you're either uber rich, you are delusional, or you just don't really care about the background noise in the world, and you kind of just live inside your own little bubble, which, I mean, to be fair, you're probably very happy, and I don't know why you're watching this video. Please click off, save your innocence, okay? You don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I feel like with all of that being said, we really need to get into what makes our lives meaningful. And you know what? I want to travel back, a couple of years ago at work. So, I work at a grocery store, right? It's nothing really glamorous. I kind of just sit through life, put my head down, try to make it through to the end of my shift, because the work itself isn't meaningful, or at least it doesn't feel meaningful most of the time. Now, one of these days in the grocery store, I ended up coming across a lady. She came through the, lines. She seemed like she was a bit dirty or run down, sick, whatever. She comes through, and she's trying to buy, what is it? I think it's like bread, basically the essentials, bread, eggs, milk, whatnot, water. And she comes through, and she doesn't have enough money to pay. She rummages through her purse. She tries to, figure out what she's gonna do. This lady has, 3 kids with her, and she has no money. And what happens is that there's this lady digging through her purse, trying to call her mom. She's crying, she doesn't have any money, and eventually, I think I went over there, and I gave her the money to finish paying for her order. She just needed a few dollars, okay, so I gave her the money in cash in order to pay her order. And this lady was very thankful. She had her stuff taken back across the street. She actually lives very nearby me. I haven't seen that lady again, but if I do, I'll probably tell her hi. And she went away. Now, this right here is probably one of the best things about my job. Because listen, I don't think anybody is talking about, you know, the glamorous living style at working at a grocery store, okay? But every now and then, you get that one moment, that one person that you can help out that really makes you feel good about yourself and can kind of put your purpose into perspective. Again, if nothing we did matters, why would I feel so good about helping this lady out? And, you know, I feel like we all as humans are kind of intrinsically wired to want to help each other, which is kind of funny if you take a look at literally anything going on in the world right now. You'd think that the human race is really predisposed to just wanting to kill each other, but that is not even remotely close to this case. We are biologically programmed to want to survive. We want to thrive. We have done it for, what is it, almost 100,000 years at this point as a species. It is ridiculous. And by that logic, you know, if our goal was to just kill people, I think we would have went extinct like a long time ago. And so, with that, you know, with the lady and the grocery store, I want to talk about some stuff that I have done in my life, or at least that I've observed in my life, that have made me have a renewed meaning of hope when it comes to things in the world. You know, as stated towards the beginning of the video, I have gotten into Ito, and I'm not going to explain it again because I already did, but Ito is not a very easy game to play, alright? There are over 400 towers in this game. Some of them I'm not even sure if I'll be able to beat, because some of the maneuvers and techniques that you have to pull off are damn near impossible for the vast majority of people. I mean, I still think that only one person has beaten this game in its entirety to this day. That has everything tracked, being beaten, all of the tower rushes, all of the high-stakes obbies, everything has been cleared by one singular person on the planet so far. Just put that in perspective. There are 8 billion people on this planet. Out of all of the 8 billion people, only one person on the planet has been able to beat this. What does that put into perspective? It means that you are probably never going to be able to do it. Then why do we try? Why do I try in particular? Listen, I really want to beat the game. I want to get that fabled 200% with the rainbow completion on literally everything. But with the odds I've given you, why would it matter? You know, nothing matters when you literally can't do it, right? So why would I try so hard to do something that I genuinely cannot do? Well, I think that drives into that biological need to survive. You know, people, you know, we used to live as hunter-gatherers, right? We were focused on what was the next meal. In order to get the next meal, in order to earn the respect of whatever tribes we lived in, we had to be the strongest, and we had to be the best. And I feel like that desire to push yourself to do nothing that you know you damn well can't do, but you still try anyways, that probably draws back to that. You know, our primal days as, you know, primates trying to figure out how we're going to get the most food has, in one way or another, transferred over to our lives now. You know, it's not very fun to not be able to do something, even if you don't have it as bad as me. You cannot tell me that you have not at one point or another in your life wanted to, you know, try to do something that you don't think you can do. It's very empowering, and it really, again, goes against the narrative that nothing we do matters, because if nothing we did mattered, why would we do things that perceivably don't matter to begin with? It's fascinating, and it's a really interesting case study of how the human mind works in general. You know, I talked about why we don't just log off at the beginning of the video, right? And I know it sounds ridiculous, and frankly it is ridiculous to kind of just expect that you should log off if something doesn't go your way. But I feel like my case is special. Now, you know, we have talked about my mother on this channel in the past, and how she's kind of really affected me in one way or another. But just to summarize it real quickly here, my mother tried to kill me at one point in time, right? It was probably one of the worst experiences of my life. I am going to be completely honest with you, but I survived, and I managed to somehow decide to keep walking in spite of the 2 years of torture that followed that incident with my mother trying to kill me. Why did I keep going, right? Because if nothing I did mattered, why would I try so fucking hard to keep on fighting, to keep fighting to see tomorrow, when I know damn well that nothing I do matters? And I think that's because, again, we want to survive. You know, we don't want to view the world as this meaningless, empty pile of nothingness that it is. And in order to subvert that expectation, we want to live for as long as possible, right? For me to just roll over and die, it's not something that I will do, and it's not something that I will ever do. I can be on my fucking deathbed, and I will fight the urge I will fucking force my heart to keep beating for as long as I physically can make it, because I don't want to just give up. I want to keep doing things. I want to keep living in this world and trying to impact people, because I want to help as many people as possible. And if I'm dead, I can't help people the way that I want to help them. It's sad, but it's true. If we can't help everybody, we can't save everybody, but for as long as I'm here and as long as I'm still breathing, I want to share my knowledge and my somewhat dated wisdom on how the world works and operates, because without it, you know, I don't really feel like I have much of a purpose. And purpose in and of itself is something very interesting to talk about, because, again, if nothing we did mattered, why would we try to assign ourselves some kind of greater purpose? And this one is a lot harder to answer than the ones before, because I don't really have the answers to the meaning of life. I'm not God, okay? I don't really understand the deepest meanings of the universe, you know. I'm sure God has that figured out somewhere, but me, myself, yeah, no, I just don't, okay? I really don't, and I wish I did, but that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. We don't know what our purpose is. Our purpose is largely assigned to by ourselves, and in order to fulfill that purpose, we have to still keep standing. If nothing we did mattered, why wouldn't we log off? Well, because we don't want to log off. Not only do we have this biological desire to want to survive, I mean, nothingness kind of really fucking sucks, alright? We don't want to really have to figure out what's going on there, because the unknown is scary. Not only is the unknown scary, but there is a chance that there might just be nothing when we're dead. And at that point, who the hell are we helping? And death itself is probably the biggest reason why a lot of us, myself included, have thought about things not mattering before. Because again, if we're dead, and if there's nothing after that, an inky black void filled with negative space is not really anything to be proud of. It's not something to look forward to. It's literally nothing. And you know, the old saying is, close your eyes, count to 1 second, that's how long forever is, right? But I don't like that. You know, maybe it won't affect me while I'm dead, but while I'm alive, that still really makes me wonder what my purpose is, and if anything I do really matters, because if nothing we did mattered, why wouldn't we just end it? And listen, no, I'm not suicidal, alright? I just need to put that out there right now. But it is an interesting case study. We as humans are all going to die. It's the one thing that we all have in common, and yet we keep on fighting. And with everything I've talked about now, I think we can finally start to dissect the human psyche a little bit and really tackle this question of why nothing we do matters is the most massive load of horseshit you will ever hear in your life. Now, I want to start off by prefacing this that I'm not going to give you all the details for the story coming up because, well, there's a lot of sensitive details that might endanger certain people that I will mention. But I'm just going to say right now, my sister has a lot of issues herself, right? She does not have the most comfortable upbringing. She's not really comfortable in the situation she's in right now. And with all of the things, she's too scared to really talk to anybody about it because she's afraid of the way that people are going to look at her and it's going to be perceived for what she wants to say. And listen, I get that. There have been a lot of things in my life that I have really thought about and I've really questioned before, but I'm not really in any position to help with this. Because again, my mother is a very interesting individual who will stop at nothing to make you think about things that you shouldn't want to think about, so to speak. And with it, it really makes me scared. It makes me scared for her well-being of what will happen if my mother figures out what my sister is thinking. And, you know, again, I've got to keep this very vague because of, you know, she might be watching this. I don't think she is, but on the off chance that she ever sees it, I don't really want to give away what's going on with my sister. But there's things that she doesn't want to talk to her about, things that she isn't comfortable with herself and she doesn't want to talk about, okay? And with it, it really makes me feel bad. And if nothing we did mattered, why would I care so much about what happens to my sister? And that really ties neatly into this understanding of the human psyche itself. It's a lot to deal with, actually. Like I said earlier in the video, I touched on how I have struggled with thoughts of my own purpose, and how if it didn't matter, I wouldn't care. And I have been through so much to this point, for a lot of things, I really don't care. I don't care how other people think of me, okay? I have been through so much, from the PDF shit, from all the shit happening at home with my mother, to all of the shit happening at my school, which is probably a story I'll tell another time. But with everything I've been through, I really don't care about a lot of things. But myself, the people around me, the people that I help, I do care about. And really, I think that is the answer to our question. Nothing we do really matters on a sort of cosmological scale. The universe is going to consume all of us at some point anyways, and it's just going to be an endless sea of particles. Depending on your religion, it changes what the views are, but realistically, right now, in this plane of existence that we live in right now, things are complicated. They're messy. We can't ever be 100% sure of what's going to happen when we're gone, but what we can do is we can focus on the right here and now, because what we do today really does matter. I know it might be kind of hard to grasp for a lot of people who might be going through a dark place in their life, but things do matter. Things do get better, and you are not nothing. You have a lot to look forward to in your own lives, and for that, let me tell you a story, right? I had an issue with a job of mine in which I had lost it. It wasn't really a job, okay? It was a fucking Roblox game. 50,000 Roblox, not 50,000 Robux, 500,000 Robux or something ridiculous like that. That's a lot of money to be losing out on, because it can really help me a lot. Yeah, it only converts to like $2,000 or something like that, but my god, is that a lot of money to really help myself out with. It is amazing, and I really liked it. But, eventually there were some things happened, and a lot of people really didn't like me for it, and things spiraled. Alright, I don't want to get into it too much here. That video is a mega downer and not part of the message I want to be sending. If you want to look at it, there will be a link up in the top right, and you can go look at it there. But to get back to this video, a lot of the times I thought that I really didn't have anything to look forward to from that point onwards. It was scary. I really did feel like my life was nothing. My attendance at work slipped. My social and my mental fell dramatically. I started relapsing into old habits of not wanting to exist anymore, of really just self-isolating, not keeping myself clean, not keeping my apartment clean, just miserable and rotting away. And it felt like nothing mattered. But it still did. It still did matter, didn't it? Because we're still here right now. And the people that we impact are still real people that exist right now. It's very easy to roll over and say that nothing we do matters because it's an easy way out. It's a solution it's a temporary solution to a problem that's never gonna go away. There is a lot of stuff to deal with. The stress of your loved ones, the stress of the people around you, the stress of your life, what your purpose is going to be, trying to fulfill your desire to be better, to be the very best. It really can hurt a person. It really can make them think that they might be nothing, but that just can't be further from the truth. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something to do. Every action that every person makes, good or bad, matters in some extent. You want to feed the homeless? Guess what? A lot of people live. A lot of people are blessed. If you go out and delete somebody from the face of the earth, your horrible decision ended up mattering for a lot of people. That is just the long and short of it. No matter what you do, no matter how small or minute, something as simple as flicking a cigarette off of your balcony, that is going to matter in some minuscule way in the universe. What you do matters. And, we might not be around to see it. We might not have the ability to be here forever. I mean, who knows with technology these days, but one thing we can guarantee and one thing that we can do is to give people the best lives that we can give them now. We still exist now. We exist for ourselves, and we exist for our family and our friends and our communities. Those are who we exist for. With all the stories I've told so far, I think you can probably get a pretty good idea of how I see the world around me. It's a fun place. A lot of stuff happens in the world, and it really gets you thinking about what happens when your purpose is fucked up. Well, your purpose is not really something that is set in stone. It is malleable, it changes and diverges, and is really different depending on what you do in life. You know, one moment you might want to be an engineer, the next moment you might want to be a contractor, the next moment you might want to be a YouTuber, and the next moment you might want to be a doctor. It changes. What we want to do with our life is never always going to be constant. It is fluid, and it changes, and it kind of sucks, and it can really be scary, and a lot of people use the excuse that it doesn't matter as some way to psychologically distance themselves from the burdens of their life. I don't like a lot of the shit that happens in my life, but I still have to put up with it anyways. You know, it's no fun to sit around and do nothing. It's no fun to be stagnant. Hell, I was supposed to go back to work yesterday, but I didn't get to go back to work yesterday because guess what? They didn't put me on the schedule. At that moment in time, my immediate actions really did not matter. It's not like I could magically snap my fingers and make them magically put me on the work schedule, because guess what? That's not how life works, and it would have been really easy for me to roll over and say that nothing I did mattered. But no, you wanna know what I did? I got up and I called work the day before I was supposed to be in, and the day after I was supposed to be in, and the day of I was supposed to be in, to try to figure out the issue with my schedule. Because one, I need money, but two, I don't want to sit around and do nothing, alright? Because I have a purpose. We all have a purpose. You know, my purpose right now is to go into work every day. It's to help people in what minute ways I can, make the money, come home, and then make this video to help you all try to navigate through your own personal problems. You know, I don't think I'm ever really going to get another video that passes the level of the fucking I lost my job to fake PDF allegations. As much as it annoys me, then that's kind of going to be the thing that I'm known for. It's the thing that I'm known for, and I kind of have to deal with it, you know, because nothing I do matters, right? Why would I really care about how that affected me? And I could keep going on and on and on and on about this for the rest of the night, but there's no point to, because I think I've really established what we've got to deal with right now. You know, nothing we do matters if you think about it from the most cosmological, infinite scale imaginable. Even in certain religions, you know, beyond a certain point, nothing you do matters because you've already reached the absolute, because you've already reached the heaven, because you've already reached the new life, you've already reached nirvana. It doesn't matter at that point. It really doesn't, because, hey, guess what? You know, you have reached some point. But if we keep thinking of things on these cosmological scales, if we keep trying to think of things in some way that the human brain was not designed to think of, it's gonna drive you crazy. We can't comprehend forever. You know, people have tried to before. They failed. Close your eyes and count to 1 second really doesn't encapsulate it, but who am I know, guys? I'm just a guy sitting in his underwear recording a video right now, so why the fuck does it matter if I do anything, right? But, you know, it is what it is. We can't really control the situation we were asked to. None of us were asked to be born. None of us wanted to just spawn in here. We were all shat out of our mother's wombs one day, and we have to deal with what we were given in life. Nothing else to it. If there is a piece of advice I have to you, I guess the moral of today's story would be, yeah, life sucks, okay? But that doesn't mean that nothing you do matters. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. Everything you do matters to some certain degree, because you have the impact to change 1,000 people. You know, maybe there was only going to be like 1,000 people that watch this video, but that's 1,000 people's lives that are going to be changed, for better or for worse, by my words, by my influence. Me sitting in my underwear, you know, in my chair, in front of my microphone, recording this video, that is going to affect the lives of 1,000 people. So how can you say that what I do doesn't matter if it can affect anybody? If even one person watches this video, and this wasn't for nothing, okay? It still mattered in the end, because, hey, guess what? I affected people's lives in ways that a lot of people can't, and you too, you at home watching this video right now, can do anything you set your mind to within reason. I mean, I don't think you're going to be building any flying cars anytime soon, but you can come close, right? And you can take steps towards achieving that goal. And with it, you could really do something to benefit the world in ways that you don't think are possible, in ways that I can't do myself. And that's the key. You can't keep thinking about the forever. You can't keep thinking about the long term. You can't keep thinking about how much it's gonna hurt when we're all gone one day. It doesn't matter. You know, we might be trapped, we might be lost and abandoned, exploring things around our lives, but at the end of the day, nothing we do matters. But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Because it does. My name is Trilad. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you do enjoy the video, please do make sure to drop a like and comment on it. Hype the video. I really don't know how the fuck hyping even works on YouTube, okay? It's really weird. I've never seen the button before. I'm not sure if it's just exclusive for specifically on the Rise creators, if it's only exclusive for people that like have ads on their videos or something. I don't know myself personally, but if you can, hype the video and join the Discord, link in the description. I'll have a video linked on screen right now that I think you'll like if you want to try to watch something else, because I got a lot of stories that I want to tell you, and I have a lot of things that might really help you guys out. But yeah, that's about for me. My name is Trilad, and remember, everything you do does matter to a certain extent, even if it doesn't feel like it. And with that, I'm gone. Bye-bye, guys.